Hello and welcome to Fit to Box channel. Please like and subscribe and don't forget to jab that notifications bell for all my latest uploads. Here at the gym, people come in and they buy equipment. Sometimes they buy equipment and I've sort of recommended it. Sometimes they've watched the channel, which is great. Sometimes they've done their own thing and they've gone to Sports Direct or wherever and bought something under their own judgment. Sometimes they can get it right, sometimes they can get it wrong. The item that people buy that I cringe most at when they walk in is hand wraps from Everlast. And these are the hand wraps, okay? So these are the Everlast Flex Cool hand wraps. They've got sort of, as always with Everlast, they make things look good in terms of, you know, the grey and sort of almost like the lime green. And I'll just show you there, that's the end. But the issue that I've got with these is the fact that they don't actually make a very good hand wrap. Or rather, it's harder to get a good hand wrap because it's hard to judge how to do them properly. Now, with a normal set of hand wraps, I've got some Sabas ones here. I always like a little bit of stretch. As you can see there, I don't like the cotton ones where there's no stretch. I like a little bit of stretch because what that does is it enables you to get a very comfortable hand wrap because you can slightly stretch it as you're doing it around your hand. Now the problem with these is these have got some stretch, but let me just show you. The stretch in them is ridiculous. Now bearing in mind these are about 4.5 metres, same as sort of these Sabas ones, and with these ones, because of that stretch, they would actually, if you like pull them as you're putting them around your hand, these will stretch to about 8 metres, okay, which is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know where they've got this material from. I think they may have got it from like a bungee cord or some sort of bungee centre, because look at that is absolutely ridiculous. Now, the problem is when you're putting them on, let me just put them to one side. Look at the size of that already. I mean, that is the Sabas one, and that is there. So they're so bulky already to do. So that makes them more difficult when you've got them wrapped up. You put them on, and as you're putting them on, you literally haven't got to stretch them that much, because if you do start to stretch them, what happens is it becomes very tight. So I'm going to use minimal stretch, but because you're doing minimal stretch, they're sort of going on loosely. The material, I admire that Everlast have tried to do something different, but unfortunately it hasn't really worked. So as I'm putting it through, you can see it's going on quite loose. Already you can see that thumb there, how it's loosening off. And I'm trying not to stretch it too much, because if you go too stretchy with them, it can like bind the hands. So again, I'm coming round, I'm still coming round, I'm doing my normal hand wrap, and bring it round. I'll go round this way for that one, and then round. Again, you see how it's like gaping up as I'm doing it. I'm trying to be very, very careful not to stretch it too much. And that's the mistake that people make with these, is they stretch them, and because that creates so much extra wrap, you just wrapping and wrapping and wrapping and wrapping, and it's too big. So I'm now going around the thumb. Now the way I've done that there, that's not too bad, because what I've done is I've just trapped them like they are a normal hand wrap, okay? I've really been careful not to stretch them at all, really. I'll put that like that. Even with that, that there is quite bulky, and it doesn't particularly feel that comfortable, because all of that elastic is still pulling in, even though I haven't pulled it. Now let me try how some people are doing it, and that is they're stretching it as they're doing it, and all you're doing is you're putting pressure on the small bone. So they get it on, they pull it. See how you can pull it that? So I'm pulling it as I'm bringing it round, I'm pulling it. You're cutting off circulation by doing that. I'm pulling it a bit further, you can see, just to try and get it tighter. And I'm going round, and I'm pulling it tighter, and already I can feel across the back of my hand it is hurting. I'm going at the back there, I'm going through the fingers. My fingers, it's harder to spread the fingers because that elasticity that is there. I'm bringing it out, I'm still pulling, only a little bit I'm pulling on that elastic, but I'm still pulling on it. I'm bringing it round. There as well, I'm still pulling. I'm going up to the top, I'm going round, and that's really tight now, that's really pulling in. I'm trying to spread my fingers, but already, with that little bit of pull, is bringing them in. This is getting very bulky. I've still got loads left because I've been stretching it. It's going bigger and bigger. My hand is actually hurting already. I haven't even put a glove on, I haven't hit anything, but because I've been stretching it, it's created this sort of massive... Is that the other one? I don't even know. Right, that's the other one there. Okay, so I've reached the end, which is incredible. But I can tell you, just because I've stretched it a little bit, that is painful. Painful across there. My knuckles are being pushed together, the bones in my hand are being pushed together, my thumb feels uncomfortable. You've got a massive amount here that is just too much on there. And that is the reason why I cringe when I see these, because they're just so stretchy, too elasticated, they're going to hurt people's hands. If I was to use this for a session, I would have hand pain after. If I was to use these long term, you would have even more hand problems because of these. You know, I like the fact that Everlast have tried to do something different. I really do. But the problem is, that stretch is just too much. I mean, even there, I can stretch it so far. These are about £10. I would just try and get some Mexican hand wraps, which is like these ones, which have got a little bit of stretch in them. That's what you want. You don't need masses and masses of stretch. If you're going to have something like this, then I think you could probably tow your car with these. They're that strong. But that stretch, I mean, let's just show you again. I mean, it is ridiculous when you look at it. There, this is the stretch that you need. Look at that, nice little beautiful bit of stretch on those sabbats. You can get really comfortable hand wraps. And then here, I used to have a Stretch Armstrong. I used to have his hand in one hand and his other hand in the other, and I used to stretch him out. And that is the equivalent to what we're doing here. I mean, look at this. It's ridiculous, okay? If you see these, don't be sort of tempted by the packaging and what they look like. Like with Everlast, a lot of the stuff, they do make things look good. But to be fair, these are rubbish. I wouldn't recommend these to anyone. You could probably wrap your whole body up with these, they're that long. Leave them alone and get some normal Mexican style stretch hand wraps. You'll be much better off and you won't end up with hands like this. Hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe to Fit to Box channel, and I shall speak to you soon.